need you to act not for politics, not to stay in power, not to keep your jobs. We need you to act like the adults in the room and stand up for all of the kids, not just the ones that are easy. Thank you.
Mrs. Armstrong, just one of the 24 speakers from last night's West Ada School Board meeting. The first meeting since district administrators told sixth grade history teacher, Sarah Inama, she had to take down 2 inclusive posters from her Lewis and Clark middle school classroom. Sarah says she was told her posters were political and personal opinion, since not everyone believes the basic message behind those sentiments. Sarah refused and put the "Everyone is Welcome Here" poster back up, and weeks later, she brought her story to us. Well, since then, we've asked repeatedly to speak with someone, anyone from the district or a member of the board to find out how an "Everyone is Welcome Here" poster violates District Policy 401.2, which says classrooms should be content neutral. And we've been denied every single time. Other than internal memos and political podcasts, we have yet to hear what the board has to say about the policy they amended back in 2022. And the reason, as they mentioned last night, is because they just couldn't agree on a response, despite the overwhelming beliefs and criticisms from those that elected them.
Welcome to the regular board meeting for the Board of Trustees for the West Ada School District.
More than 150 people packed into the West Ada boardroom.
We have had 24 people sign up. We will allow all 24 to speak.
For the chance to tell the trustees directly,
this is absolutely ridiculous and utterly embarrassing for West Ada, for Idaho, and for humanity.
And exactly how they felt about requiring the removal of an "Everyone is Welcome Here" poster.
Posters that foster inclusion based on race, color, national origin, religion, or any of the other federal protected classes ought to be required in every classroom and not banned.
Parents and teachers overwhelmingly supported Sarah and her sign.
To interpret messages of belonging as political simply because of a rainbow clip art, or skin tones for that matter, and for the district to validate that perception is disheartening and demeaning as an educator.
And they questioned how it was handled by the district.
It has been said that this policy is meant to protect teachers from complaints, but we don't need protection, we need collaboration. But the way this policy has been implemented hasn't prevented conflict. It has fueled confusion and mistrust.
What is the political opinion? I still have not been told that. For an opinion to be an opinion, it's that people don't agree on something. So I just want to know what that is.
Even Sarah Inama took her 2 minutes.
Programs. Is it the graphics with the hands?
Thank you.
Okay. It's okay. I will email the rest.
And then part of another's.
You're welcome to my time if you'd like to talk more.
Which she concluded this way.
I'm not here to reconcile this for me personally, but I truly feel that you need to remember the basic fundamentals of public education and what this country is and what the law is for accepting and protecting all students in our schools, because this message of your response has been very detrimental to our students, their families, and our staff. Thank you.
Of course, all of these thoughts and feelings had already been shared with the district and the board over the last several weeks.
It's even more embarrassing that we have not shouted from any and all media platform that we made a mistake and that we love and welcome all students in a public school.
But what we hadn't heard until Monday night was from the West Ada Board trustees, who put this policy in place.
I want to be clear, I'm in full support of the posters that were asked to be removed, for the very same reasons many of you are here tonight. When I voted on Policy 401.2 a few years ago, I did so to keep politics out of the classrooms. I still believe this is the right thing for our students. What I didn't anticipate was that a message of inclusion or words on primary colors could be seen as political. I won't accept that.
It's tricky. I think we all agree we live in a highly politicized world, yes? I mean, it matters right now what kind of car I drive. I mean, can we agree that's crazy? I do believe the best thing we can do is try and keep as much conflict out of the classroom as possible. That by no means is at all to insinuate that all people should not be welcome in the classroom at all. That is just to say the debate, the discussion of what is or isn't political, that's the piece that I would like to keep out of classrooms.
But if you lead with curiosity and you try to understand, you may have an answer to some of the questions that right now seem perplexing. How is it possible that this could be interpreted any other way? How is it possible that anyone could see things differently than I can? But there's been a sort of a repeated call to acknowledge a mistake. And I want to say in the clearest possible terms, I think that everything was done right here.
Everything was done correctly here, Trustee Benetti? From the interpretation of policy to Sarah's decision to put it back up, to the entire district refusing to answer questions, but instead blaming the media for turning it into a controversy, that was all done correctly. For what it's worth, Dave Benetti, someone who wanted to be a West Ada trustee during the pandemic, riding in on a wave of not wanting the school board to make broad, sweeping decisions for everyone, apparently is now okay with the board making broad, sweeping decisions for everyone. How about leading with curiosity, which he kind of pointed out? I believe that was what we and many others were trying to do when we wanted to know how this poster could possibly be considered a personal opinion and how it violates a content-neutral policy. We were denied every opportunity, over and over. And one of those who showed up last night, hoping to hear some sort of explanation to those questions, he used to sit at the head table. Steve Smiley spent 45 years as a teacher, starting at a West Ada school or West Ada Middle School. Then he went on to Boise State. He was also a state legislator in between there. And then when his teaching career concluded, he was appointed to the West Ada School Board in 2016 and served until 2020. Steve says making every child feel welcome was one of the most important things he did as a teacher and as a trustee.
As board members, you set policy that is for the betterment of the district.
What made you want to show up last night then?
Because I wanted to say that I knew what was going on and I knew where they were. You know, the rule of holes is when you find yourself in one, stop digging. We're supposed to be on the same team. We are supposed to be here for the children we teach.
What do you mean by that?
We have the same object in mind, educating children. And we're supposed to be doing it together. You have to trust your superintendent. You have to trust your academic directors, and most importantly, your mid-level managers.
But they all said to get rid of the poster.
Well, they did. And that's where I thought that maybe that should have been thought through a little better.
Well, is this a policy thing or is this an interpretation of the policy?
I think it was the interpretation of the policy where I disagree. I don't think the policy was designed to make kids feel like they were not welcome somehow. I guess this has become controversial now.
You were there for the board saying what they said last night.
Mm-hmm.
But did it answer the question of why this poster violated the policy?
I think...
Did you get that answer?
I didn't.
You didn't get the answer why it violated the policy, but did you hear a contrition of like, we didn't handle this properly?
No.
Do you think it changes anything?
The thing I'm hoping is it changes going forward.
Changing what?
How that we handle a situation like this in a classroom.
Well, going forward is what the West Ada Board of Trustees spent the rest of the meeting last night discussing, specifically breaking up Policy 401.2 into other policies. One of the things they are hoping to do is to define what content neutral is, or rather what it is not. Anything currently the subject of intense public argument, disagreement, or approval, or disapproval, I should say, that would be considered not content neutral, but try finding anything that people don't disagree on these days. Any political message, any contentious ideology, belief, or social issue, and anything likely to incite disruption, distraction, or division within the school community, which, as you can imagine, still sounds like a pretty broad definition of content neutral. They're also considering, though, establishing a visual review committee that will review all appeals of visual content in classrooms. The committee will consist of at least 5 people, majority of which will be district parents. Sarah told us last night she still hasn't heard anything new from the district about the fate of her "Everyone is Welcome Here" poster, which means she still has until the beginning of next year to remove it.